All right, so the Detroit Lions announced quite a bit of roster moves about 24, 48 hours after the Atlanta Falcons game. It's technically one in the record books, but I'm not counting it as a win. I'm counting it as a draw. So we're now 0-1-1 on the season, in my opinion, or I'm just not counting it at all, and we remain 0-1. I'm not counting this as a win. I just don't feel like we should. Yeah, we had more points, but we only played three quarters. The Falcons very easily could have come back and won that game. We very could have easily hold on to the lead and won the game. But I don't like to count that as a win when he didn't play the whole game. So in my opinion, the Lions are still 0-1, 0-1-1 on the year. But they have made quite a bit of roster moves after that game, so let's go and get into it. Lions announced roster moves. They have placed offensive tackle Justin Haran, who they just signed less than a week ago, on injured reserve, ending his season. It's unfortunate for Justin Haran, the former Patriots sixth-round pick, has dealt with injuries his whole entire career. Probably one of his last chances in the NFL to get, and he's now going to be out for the season again. I'm assuming the Lions will probably release him at some point with an injury settlement. That way he does have another opportunity this year to play again. But right now he is out for the year, unfortunately. He had an air cast on his arm as he got hurt in warm-ups versus the Falcons. Colby Sorsdahl has also been placed. Offensive tackle / offensive guard, former fifth-round pick by the Lions in 2023 from William & Mary. Has not really panned out, but he did have a really good performance versus the Chargers and got hurt within one of the first plays he came in the game, and now he is out for the season as well. The Lions will probably keep him on injured reserve. They could release him with injury settlement, but if I had to guess, they'll probably keep him on injured reserve, ending his season. And it's unfortunate because I don't think he will be on the Detroit Lions again, because they'll either release him next year at the start of the year or they'll release him with an injury settlement this year. So I think Colby Sorzel's time most likely as a Detroit Lion has come to an end, even though technically he's under contract for another year after this. And they have also placed tight end Kenny Yeboah, who they signed from the New York Jets this offseason, on injured reserve as well, ending his season. Kenny Yeboah really didn't make a big impact. They didn't really expect him to make the 53 anyway when we signed him. I expected most out of him to be a practice squad guy, but he is out for the year. That's unfortunate for him. The Lions will probably also release him with an injury settlement at some point, but for right now, he is out for the season. The Lions also waived UDFA running back from Tennessee a couple of years ago, Jabari Small, with an injury settlement, so he is no longer on the Detroit Lions. He passed through waivers. I believe he's now back on our injured. Actually, I don't think so, since it was with an injury settlement. I believe he did obviously pass waivers, but I do believe now he is just actually a free agent. So Jabari Small is no longer on the Lions. Not a big deal there. Really didn't see what I liked from him. Was really just a Justin Jackson, Jamal Williams combined. Justin Jackson type size, Jamal Williams type speed, and you throw in Jamal Williams and Justin Jackson's ability to break tackles. That's essentially what Jabari Small was. So not a really big deal here. It wasn't Jabari Small the best, though. And they signed 4 UFL players, signing offensive lineman Gunnar Britton, offensive guard Keaton Sutherland. Gunnar Britton's a guard as well. Tight end Gunnar Oaks. 2 Gunners there, spelled different ways, though. And running back Deion Jackson. Now, you might know Deion Jackson played on the Colts a couple of years ago, and I just really remember him. I believe, if I'm not, it could have been a different player, but if I'm not mistaken, Deion Jackson was a running back who cost me winning a fantasy week in 2022, where he had I believe it was like 80 to 100 yards and a touchdown that ended up winning him that fantasy week. I was so livid. He was worth so much for like 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks in fantasy during that period, and then he was completely useless because he was pretty bad after that performance. But I have something going on with Deion Jackson here, so hopefully he can do this now for the Lions and have a great performance like that what he did for the Colts a couple years ago, because I need something now good out of Deion Jackson after what he did to me a couple years ago in fantasy. Deion Jackson, 6'2", 218. I believe he was on the Stallions this past year in the UFL. I could be wrong, though. From Duke, 26 years old. Had 14 carries for 16 yards in 2023. Did not play in 2024. That's 1.1 yards per carry. In 2021, he played 9 games with the Colts. 13 carries, 31 yards, 2.4 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. In 2022, his career year, missed only 1 game. 68 carries, 236 yards, 3.5 yards a carry, 1 touchdown as well as 1 fumble. And then 2023, played on 3 different teams, the Colts, the Browns, and the Giants, playing a combined total of 4 games for 14 carries, 16 yards, 1.1 yards per carry, and a fumble. So the guy struggles to hold on to the football, it looks like, which is not a good thing. In his career, played 28 games, 95 carries, 283 yards, only 3 yards per carry on the nose, 2 touchdowns, and 2 fumbles. So Deion Jackson has struggled to hold the football in his career, and his average yards per carry was not very good. I don't remember him ever being a good running back besides that one fantasy performance. I just know maybe he didn't have a good running back. Maybe he didn't even have that good of a season. Here's his college stats. If you want to pause the video and take a look at that. But he didn't even really have that good of a game, I don't think, from what I remember. I think it was actually he just cost me the fantasy week because he got the touchdown. It was insane. It doesn't really matter now, obviously. I don't know why I'm going off on this, but Deion Jackson, welcome to Detroit. Hopefully, he can actually have a productive season now with us because he really hasn't had them in the past. When it comes to guards, Connor Britton and Keaton Sutherland, they both played in the UFL last season. Obviously, don't have any stats. I mean, I'm sure if I go to the UFL website, they do, but I just don't feel like doing that for offensive linemen. So welcome to the squad. Keaton Sutherland is a veteran guard. I believe he's 28, 29, and Gunnar Britton's on the younger side. I believe he's 25. And Gunnar Oaks, UDFA from Iowa a couple of seasons ago. I believe that's where he was from. I believe it was from Iowa. Didn't really have a lot of stats his final year at Iowa. And was in the UFL last season on the Michigan Panthers. So welcome to Detroit, Gunnar Oaks as well. So just a lot of small Lions roster moves there. They placed 4 players essentially on injury reserve, waiving one of them with an injury settlement. Jabari Small is not out for the year. He can play anywhere now after a certain amount of weeks with the injury settlement. Could return to the Lions. Highly doubt it. And they welcome 4 new UFL players to the squad. So one probably go Lions. I believe we're now up to a total of, it's either 8 or 10. I think it's 8. 8 UFL players signed this offseason. I believe that's the most of any NFL team by about double. The Lions is, let's just see. They signed those 4 guys from the UFL. They signed Jacob Sailors. They signed Nick Whiteside. They signed Luke Barco and DJ Miller. Those are the players they've signed from the UFL this season. If I'm missing one, we've put it in the comments down below, but I believe that is all. But a total of 8 players. That's insane. I would expect probably 1 or 2 more to happen as well this season at some point. So, one probably going small roster moves. Wishing the best for Justin Hahn, Kobe Sorrell, and Kenny Aboa on recovering from their injuries. What's the best of Jabari Small, finding a new team. And welcome to the squad, Gunnar Britton, Keaton Sutherland, Gunnar Oaks, and Deion Jackson. We'll see if any of them can make the 53-man practice squad. That's really what it comes down to. They're gonna have to do a lot to make the 53-man or practice squad. A lot. One pride, go Lions.